You've landed at the 13 Moons Women's Temple podcast with your hosts, Sam and Leela.
Hello, lovely people. It's so nice to be able to be here with you today for our Moon Diaries report. We're coming to you this evening, Monday evening. And yeah, just waiting for Sam to join me. While she's waiting, I might take care of any little bits of housekeeping that we have. So you can subscribe to the Moon Diaries if you listen to podcasts. We're on all of the podcasting apps. So if you want to, you can find our channel and subscribe to that, and then that will be loaded up there for you if you find that you don't generally make it to catch our live delivery in our Facebook group. If you are listening to this on a podcast and you go, what is this live Facebook group that she's talking about? We have a group on Facebook called The Gathering, which is a really beautiful community of people here that are all, I guess, centered around finding ways to live life in more harmony, and with Kundalini yoga and meditation and recalibrating to the cycles of nature. So you're welcome to join us. Come and find us and join us in there. And then the last little bit of information is we have our full moon circle this Friday night. So if you are already a member, you've already subscribed to the moon circles, we hope to see you live this Friday night. It's going to be a beautiful full moon in Pisces this weekend, which we'll get to in this report. Yes, Sam. But if you're not a member of our moon circle community, it's just $10 to subscribe, and that gets you the new moon circle, where we go through with meditations and rituals to set intention for this current moon cycle, and then the full moon circle where we get to reflect on how the month is going, and what it is that you might be working through and needing to release and surrender. So really, really wonderful little online events. And then if you miss them live, then you can always catch the recording immediately afterwards. Okay. Hi, Sam.
Hello.
Hi, it's nice to see you.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah. I'm just going to adjust my camera so that we're the same size on the screen.
Oh, are we different?
It's no, but sometimes we are. But we always sort of manage to, you either come forward or I'll go backwards, and then we're the same size.
Yeah, I see. I know about those things. Okay. Here, like different point. Yeah. Good. You were doing all the announcements.
Yes, they're all done. That I can think of. Just where to find us on the internet and to join on Friday night.
That's nice. Good. Well, maybe a really good thing we could start with today is a breath. I use it a lot, but it's the breath to do when you don't know what to do. I feel like that might be a very helpful breath for this week, and a nice way for us to center ourselves. So we'll go through it 3 times, but if you're able to, even if you're driving, you can do this, just don't close your eyes. But if you can close your eyes for a moment, and we'll just pause and just feel whatever it is that you're feeling. And if you have got any anxiety, or I don't know, maybe you're feeling very tired, or maybe you're just feeling a bit stressed because you're trying to do a million things at once, just score that, because then you can see how that is after doing this next thing. And then together we'll take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and we'll exhale through the nose. And then we'll inhale through the mouth, suck the breath in like you're sucking a straw. And almost whistle the breath out. And then inhale through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Inhale through your mouth. And exhale through your nose. We'll do that again. Maybe twice will be enough. Inhale through the nose. Exhale nose. Inhale like you're sucking a straw. Exhale, whistle the breath out. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale mouth. And exhale nose. And just pause. Just see how you feel now. So good. Pretty
So
cruisy.
very cruisy. That's so good.
Let's maybe put that breath in the show notes. It's such a good breath. Or maybe we'll do a video of it. It's such a good breath. We should be using that breath a lot. It's very good at just calming everything down in the vagus nerve and just bringing ourselves back into that, into the parasympathetic, which is actually, in a nutshell, what we need to be doing this week, is preparing our nervous system, not in a way that means that, horrible things are coming, but just that we want to be resilient with our nervous system. And so the more that we practice breath, the pranayamas that support us in being able to just flick into that parasympathetic, the less we're going to be reactionary. And as we come towards the end of the week, there's a potential for there to be some chaos in the skies, and we want to, as we were talking about just before, and we'll go into more, we want to be able to enjoy the fireworks rather than panic that the fireworks are going to hit us.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a great analogy.
That's what we want. So it was it called, that thing on Friday in Brisbane, River Fire? Is that what it's called? I don't really know what it's for. Everyone who's really Australian, and there's a real purpose for it. I have no idea what happens, but my children were all talking about it. And I was just thinking exactly that. You don't want to be underneath going, I don't know what's happening. You want to be sitting from a beautiful apartment with some amazing food and some beautiful friends saying, wow, what an amazing spectacle for me to see. Yeah, that's all.
Yes, spectacle. That sums up Mercury retrograde and the full moon on the weekend. So let's start today and work towards what's coming.
Break it down.
I think to start, we forgot to do this last week. If you're having a moon return this week, if your moon is in Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, or Aries. So this week the moon will be present in all of those signs. So that will be your moon birthday if you're in any of those signs.
That's nice. Happy moon birthday.
And I think just to sort of set the tone for this week, we're in a waxing moon leading up to the full moon. So the light is gradually incrementally increasing on the moon, and it will become completely full on Saturday. So this brings with it the energies of momentum, like you're really working towards something. It has the potential, just the overarching energy of the moon has the potential for it to feel like, or particularly if you're working on what your new moon intentions were from last week, kind of like there's a lot to do, and you're wanting to kind of use the momentum to get as much done as you can, but also just being mindful that that energy can build to be quite intense, and you may end up feeling like you're losing control, or like you're not doing enough, or like it's just not working. And so that's not actually going to be the case, but that can be sort of the shadow side of you know, this increasing intensity of the energy, particularly as we come up to a full moon in Pisces. So but let's start today, Sam, with
today's a lovely, I mean, it's the end of the day, but it's still lovely, because Venus has moved into Virgo, and it's a really nice energy for us to sit in. One of the things that we can consider is that this move of Venus into Virgo could be seen as a time to consider acts of service. And that's a nice way of looking at it. And how can I help others, or how can I be of service? It's really interesting, actually, because I don't know why, but this morning during sadhana, I can't remember what happened. Oh, maybe it was the card I pulled. And it made me, at the end, I actually suggested that everyone just offer their day to the divine, and just say to the divine, it's what Tosha does. And I was talking a bit about Tosha earlier, but I was saying we want to offer the day, to offer ourselves to the divine, to be in service for the highest good of all. Because sometimes we can offer acts of service, and they're really not of anyone else's benefit whatsoever. We just think they are. And so, quite importantly, it's probably a good time to sit and listen to others, and only act when you can be absolutely sure that is something that would support the collective good, or the good of all. And so yeah, so it's nice, actually. It's quite a nice energy, this Venus in Virgo. Yeah, and it's a moon day, so that's rather beautiful. And what sign are we in? Capricorn. So some of you may be like, oh, I really wanted to achieve lots today, but then you haven't, because it's a moon day, and that's okay. And Venus in Virgo kind of be making you feel a bit like that too.
Yeah, I think that's how I feel today. But the good news is that the moon will still be in Capricorn tomorrow. So that which you didn't feel like you were able to achieve today, the energy is going to be there for you tomorrow, and on a Mars day. And so Tuesday, tomorrow, is just going to be a really great, just tidy off those last few things that you really want to get done before the full moon, and then the energy will shift. Was there anything else we wanted to sort of say about this Virgo? I think it's nice to kind of just acknowledge that we're in the solar sign of Virgo as well at the beginning of this week, and we were just sort of talking before we came on. Sam, do you want to say what you read about Shani? Because I really liked what she said.
Did you? That's nice. What did I say?
So Shani Nichols was saying that this Virgo energy is bringing the essence, where the light is being shone on those things that are beautiful that we don't recognize in mainstream as a mainstream form of beauty. And this is really special, because to be able to see the beauty in those things that, you know, aren't really recognized with the currency, but that just feels right for you, or just feels beautiful to you. This is really quite important, because as we get towards the full moon in Pisces, there is some really wonderful creative artistic aspects that we can be tapping into with that. And I think for originality and for creativity, and if you're creating something out there in the world, we don't need anything else to be the same as what somebody else is doing. We need ingenuity, and we need that freshness, and it's only going to be what you see as being beautiful and unique that will be able to have that energy to come through into the world, that other people will appreciate, you know. And that comes with, it's like a rare jewel. So I think that's a really lovely aspect to this moon, that that, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just thinking as you're saying that, and that's really perfect if we think, you know, I've got a lot I need to achieve at the moment, and I feel like I've got to do it before the weekend. And anyway, we'll get to there. Potentially I don't need to, and it might be that it's not good to rush it, but I want to make the most of tomorrow, and it's Mars Day, and normally I shy away from Mars days, but tomorrow I'm actually going to make the most of it. But what I like is what you were just saying, and the fact that then on Wednesday we go into Aquarius, and so actually that really amplifies. And Wednesday's a Mercury day, so we're in a Mercury day. We're coming into a Mercury. Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, and then anyway, it's just everything all comes together. But Aquarius really has that energy of innovation, of seeing things differently, of, you know, futuristic thinking, which could mean that yes, what you see as being very different to others, but it doesn't mean it's less beautiful. It just means you see a picture in an art gallery, we all look at it very differently. Some of us go, is that really art, to that spot on the, and some of us can see a whole story in it. And so I think we are, and this is just, you know, that is in fact the way all things in life are. And it just comes down to, yeah, our different individual interpretations of the experience that we're having. This is quite a good week to ponder the beauty of that.
I think so, yeah. And so, you know, the point to Mercury, so Mercury will station on Friday, and then it will start to move retrograde on Saturday. So that means this whole week we are preparing for that to happen, and then Mercury will be in retrograde for about 2.5 weeks. So if you're new to the concept of Mercury retrograde, Mercury governs communication, all forms of communication, thought, speech, written, ideas, expression, body language, and it's the projection of that which we're thinking and that which we desire to be seen. We project it out. And in the stage of Mercury retrograde, what happens is that the projection is not moving out. We turn the gaze inwards, and the psyche has time to rest. We're not mentally projecting any longer for this period of retrograde. We're allowing the subconscious to be able to rest, and that is very important because we need that time to go creatively inward. Otherwise we will fry out our inner circuitry, and this is where overwhelm and overload is, where ideas become manufactured in a commercial form rather than what we're talking about with this ingenuity. And so what's so beautiful about the journey that the moon is making this week is it's really actually giving you the opportunity to start to tap in some of your own inner desires and that which you see beauty in a creative way, so that we're really already starting to prepare that psyche so that we're not having to be so structured and articulate and organized in the way that our ideas are being expressed. We want to really start to settle into that more free flow of letting go of control of what it is that your ideas are going to manifest as, because you just might be really, really pleasantly surprised.
And potentially with the way that we've got a Mercury retrograde, so obviously it's Mercury is the ruler of Virgo, so it's all happening in this Virgo season, so it could potentially be a bit chaotic. It's actually going retrograde into Libra, but we'll come back into Virgo. So therefore we want to consider our relationships and balance. Where is balance in our life? I think interesting is to contemplate that, coming into this weekend, we need to consider that things might not be quite what we planned, and that we just need to be able to go with the flow with that. That's why I want to prepare our parasympathetic nervous system, because we just want to be able to go, oh, and this is the way it is, and so be it. Which, I don't know, sometimes it gets a bit of a bad rep, this, you know, rap or whatever, you know, this saying things like that. But I live my life, we generally live our lives this way, that if something doesn't work, we try and say, and we try and live by the motto that it really wasn't meant to be. because generally if things are not easy, it is a demonstration that the universe is not supporting that movement. And so sometimes we can fight this with all our might, but it generally doesn't help. And the more you fight, the more frustrated and the more in the sympathetic nervous system you are, and that's just a vicious cycle. So ultimately this week is about that surrender of understanding that you are going to be shown the things that aren't quite working for you. And it's okay to say, that's not working for me. And you'll have to make some change. You don't have to make it immediately because we're in Mercury retrograde, but you can just be familiar or aware of it. And then in writing that down, and Mercury retrograde is a great time for writing. So if you're a writer, a poet, or a fictional writer, or maybe not just any kind of writer, it's a really great time to do writing and to be able to lose yourself in that. This will be a really great weekend for it, especially as it's a Pisces full moon, but we'll get there in a second. I just wanted to just mention that thing that I thought was really cool, that Mercury stations, or Mercury goes retrograde on Friday. And Friday is the 9th of the 9th of the 6th. And that means overall it's a 6-day. And I just always think that's amazing. Like we're in a 6 arc line year. It kind of just means one of the things that you can use to support you during this Mercury retrograde period would be the numerology of the 6, of the arc line. So strengthen your arc line. Start into how you can strengthen that force field around yourself. So we obviously have that halo around our head. So how can you stop yourself from being in too much mental clutter and actually just allow that space to be clear? And then also, how can you charge this energetic field of your heart so that you can actually find more compassion when things get challenging, especially this weekend in relationships?
Yes. So some really cool practical tips. Wednesday and Thursday, the moon is in Aquarius. These are the 2 days before Mercury will go retrograde. These are pretty much the last 2 days that if you're in negotiation or contracts or you have anything to do with technology, you want to kind of wrap those up as much as you can and plan to not go into any kind of negotiating or anything like that until after retrograde has happened. If you're in the realms of content creation, just like you were saying, Sam, this period of retrograde is such a beautiful time. So if to go into your creativity. So if you're writing a book, if you're writing a website, if you're designing a new business, this is, if you're writing programs or whatever it is that you're doing, this period of time is really beautiful for the next 2.5 weeks to set that creative space where you can just write and download and channel and do all of that beautiful stuff. Because when we come out of that, and we will talk about this when we get to that in a couple of weeks' time, what you're going to do with that information will be, quite transformative for your life and your work and what it is that you may be doing out there in the world. And Thursday being a Jupiter day as well, that just has that extra opportunity for you to really, take care of these loose ends.
Yeah. And also, I just was reading that Libra is associated with legal matters. So with it, Mercury going to Libra, we just really want to be aware if you are signing contracts around houses or work contracts, changing jobs, or any contracts whatsoever, or anything legal, either just really pay attention or just see if you can just delay those decisions. But just be very clear that you've got everything in order. Get someone to double check it. That would just be a nice top tip. And obviously, again, we just recommend you try and do those things before that happens. But I mean, you can't just put your life on hold because Mercury is retrograde. And so we have to remember that we don't have to go into fear over Mercury being in retrograde. And there'll be loads of memes going around like, panic. And you don't need to panic. Because the bottom line is, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen, Mercury retrograde or not. The bottom line is we always just want to be careful when we're signing contracts. And this is a time just to really think about that awareness a bit more and just to trust that the universe is here to support you. It's not against you. And that's to remember, I think.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. Good. Okay, so then we come to Friday, and the moon will enter into Pisces. Friday, like we said, Mercury will station. So that's where, if you were able to actually be tracking Mercury in the sky, it would be moving in this direction, and then Mercury would appear to stand still in the night sky, and so that's Friday. And then Saturday, Mercury then appears to then start to track backwards across the sky. So that's what's happening in the stars in that day. I'm sure there are a million other things happening in the stars, but particularly what we're concerned with. But with the moon moving into Pisces, and we're coming right up into the full moon, we're going to be really in that full moon energy. So this is where you want to start to pay attention to that you feel like it's where we start to recognize all that we've achieved. Firstly, you really want to be just so appreciative of all that you've accomplished. And then it's from that place where we can start to realize, what do I need to release control over? What has not worked? What is likely to not work? And where can I start to let the control go? And that's going to be a really beautiful process to start to go into on the Friday, and then the moon will go completely full on the Saturday. And that's when the complete light has been shone on that which is coming to light this moon cycle, just this moon cycle. And also, it's a good time. So Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac. And so what this means is that the moon has made a complete journey through the zodiac. And what we want you to perhaps look at and go back to your journals or your moon diaries, if you've been doing the rituals with us in our moon circles, is go back to when the moon was when the moon was new in Pisces, which was in March of this year. And what were you seeding back then in the new moon and Pisces in March? Because that journey is coming to full light now with the moon going full in Pisces. So just thinking about what has transpired from March until now, and that is coming to a completion of a cycle.
I think that's really cool to think about this weekend. And I think, Friday, just remember it's a Venus day. We've got this Venus and gone into Virgo aspect. So just remember, it's a Venus day and we've got Pisces. So it's a day that's in Pisces. So just feeling, Pisces can be quite emotional. It's actually very empathetic as a sign. So therefore it has a tendency to take on the energy of others. So just be aware of that in what you're doing on Friday. Just protect your energy fields on Friday, especially as Mercury stationing. And so I feel like that's going to be important, especially coming into this full moon. And I think, it's nice to think we are allowed to have, the full moon is that sort of ovulation point of the month. So we are allowed to have a celebration, have a little mini party, which we can kind of do on Saturday, like, yay, I did so well. And so we might still feel, hopefully you'll have those things that you can really celebrate, that you can see have come into fruition since March, and you can see the progression that you've made. But just remember, if that isn't how you feel this weekend, because the astrology can just be a little bit like this, if it's not how you feel, just see how perhaps you're being guided to look a different direction. It doesn't mean you can't celebrate, but just celebrate all that is, and recognize that perhaps you've been shifted into another route, and that route is maybe for your higher self a better route for you to take. And I feel like that's that whole analogy that we were talking about at the beginning, where you want to be sitting somewhere really nice watching works and just going, ooh, oh, so yeah, I think that's nice. But it's a good weekend to have a bath. So I'll try and do one of those baths, because we haven't done one of those for a while. So I'll come up with a Mercury Retrograde full moon in Pisces bath. That'll be exciting. I'll come up with something fun for that. There'll be lots of different bits and bobs going on there, and that'll be a nice way. And maybe you can just get in the bath and and just let some of that stuff where you feel that you've taken on some of the things that are not yours, just let those go into that bath with this full moon. That'll be a really nice thing to do. And then
Absolutely.
and then we can go whoop whoop on Sunday. And start.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So the moon will move into Aries on Sunday. That will be the end of that chapter. And it may feel like, you know how when the sun comes out after it's rained or after a big storm and it feels like everything just got thrown through the washing machine? Then that may be the energy on Sunday, that it feels like everything has just gone through a big tumble in the washing machine and it's come out. Doesn't really quite know exactly who it is or what it's doing, but it knows that it's beautiful, and we will start the zodiac this next moon season through the zodiac on that energy, where we're in this really beautiful we're really being asked to let go of everything that we think we know and just listen to our intuition and let your emotions and your feelings guide you, and allow yourself to be drawn to that which you're seeing beauty in. And all will come from there.
I think so. It's nice. Well, I mean, I think that that does feel nice. And so when you have those moments where you're just like, hang on, things are just not quite what I need it to be, or it's not going to plan, or I'm not enjoying the fireworks, just take a breath, do that breath we did at the beginning. Bring yourself back into the parasympathetic and just see if there's another way, or if perhaps you can just go and have a bath and just stop for a bit. Would be a nice thing to do. And I think, if you can join us on Friday evening and join us for the moon circle, it'd be a very nice time to gather together and just breathe into this weekend together, and go through some of this and do some nice meditations. So
Absolutely. I'll make sure the link to join that is in the notes, wherever it is that you're listening or reading this. And so there we are. I'm going to go and teach a Kundalini yoga class now, which is lovely. Perfect. Yes. So thank you for being with us this week. We're sending you so much love, and we love reading your comments. And whenever you write to us, it's just really nice. We're reaching people in all parts of the world with these Moon Diaries reports. So it's really special to be able to connect with you wherever you are. Have a really beautiful week and go gently. Have some amazing full moon epiphanies, because it's been a very big new moon. It's been a big moon cycle. So we've all had a lot that we've wanted to get on with and do. And so I hope that you're able to recognize that which you have actually accomplished, no matter what it may be.
Lovely.
I'm sending you all lots of love.
Have a lovely evening, everyone. Gorgeous week. See you next week. Satnam.
Satnam.
Thank you for taking the time to be with us on this podcast episode. These are sound bites and conversations about things we think are important to support the collective ascension towards more love, acceptance, hope, and harmony on the planet Earth. Together we can continue to support each other through conversations that need to be held. If you've enjoyed this episode, please do share it with your people. We would love it if you subscribe to our channel and even rate the podcast if you feel called to. You can also find us and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify just by searching the 13 Moons Women's Temple.